Hey friends, what are the most helpful things to have right outside your kitchen door for both medicinal use and cooking use? Well, those are the questions we were asking ourselves as we have created our herb garden over the last several years right behind our home. It's a funny thing because people have been using herbs for thousands of years for those purposes, and yet it's now the current trend. Go figure. We are trying to catch up on the knowledge base of how many different things that we can do with these amazing plants. Dan likes to call this our tea garden now because tea has quickly become one of the favorite uses for the herbs for us, either with fresh leaves that we just picked or the dried leaves from last season. But whether it's harvesting just the right plant for tonight's tea, adding the wow factor to my flavor profile for my dinners, or gaining the internal and topical health benefits that the plants provide, we have chosen each specimen in this garden for exactly the purposes that we knew would be beneficial to our family. So, as we highlight a few of them, I hope that'll get you thinking about what things that you would like to choose to have right outside your kitchen door for your use.
As Heidi said, we're going to go around and mention a couple of the examples of herbs in our garden that we have really grown to appreciate. But stick around to the end because I'm going to share with you some of the guiding principles that we have learned about starting your own herb garden. Well, this ginormous specimen right here is called mullein. Mullein is a biannual herb, which means that it has a 2-year life cycle. The first year, the leaves come out in this rosette pattern, and they're a little smaller than this. But the second year, the taproot really goes deep, and these leaves get huge. And then a spike comes up from the middle and goes 6 to 8 feet tall and has beautiful yellow flowers. Now, mullein is known as the natural decongestant and expectorant. In fact, a lot of pharmaceutical companies nowadays market cough syrups that try to mimic the chemical makeup that you get naturally in mullein.
When we added on to our patio, there ended up being a few inches of gap between the concrete and the pavers we already had here for our herb garden. So I had the idea of adding this thyme because it's the perfect ground cover, creeping little plant that's filled all this gap, started to fill these gaps, and I could just come out here before dinner time and pick some for cooking.
Many of you are probably familiar with this medicinal flower. It's called echinacea or coneflower. This is the purple coneflower, and in the midsummer to early fall, it's going to get these beautiful, beautiful purple flowers on them with cone-shaped centerpieces. Now, the nice thing about coneflower is it's known very widely as a wonderful allergy remedy. And so if you use this in dry teas, the flowers and the leaves, you can actually help yourself with seasonal allergies.
It would be hard to pick my favorite herb, but if pressed to do so, it might be sage. It smells amazing, it is beautiful, it is a great addition to recipes. And last fall, I made a video about sage mouthwash because I learned that the antimicrobial properties in these leaves make it the perfect addition to a mouthwash in order to keep your mouth clean and healthy. So I love making a fresh batch every couple weeks. We will link that video to the end of this video.
Probably my favorite two plants in our tea garden are wild bergamot and the peppermint back there in the back. And the reason I love them so much is because they're very aggressive growing and I can use them a lot in the summer. I pretty much harvest them every day for fresh tea. The leaves on these grow really well. And when you crush them up, they have very, very unique and strong tastes. I'm sure you're very familiar with mint and how it tastes. Our peppermint is very strong. That has that menthol medicinal taste that is so cooling and wonderful for the digestive tract. It's medicine when you have nausea or digestive issues. Related to the mint is the wild bergamot. It's also related to something that probably many gardeners are familiar with called scarlet bee balm. They're sister plants, and bergamot is a wonderful plant in the sense that it has a very unique and spicy taste. Its leaves almost like a mild oregano flavor, and its flowers have a mild citrus flavor when they're crushed. It's wonderful in a fresh tea. And in fact, I mix my bergamot and my peppermint together to make a wonderful tea. Now, the great thing about bergamot is that it's an antiseptic, and so its leaves will help with mild colds. If you have a sore throat, it's a throat soother, and it really helps with any infection that you're getting in your upper respiratory tract. So as promised, here are a few principles that we have learned, some general concepts that we've learned that really are best practices for us and might help you as you start your herb garden. The first one seems kind of simple, but it's really kind of powerful, and that is make sure that your herb garden is close at hand. Ours is literally outside the door from our kitchen. We can walk out at any point and grab a little rosemary or whatever we need in that moment. Most of the time, herbs are served and used fresh, and therefore you want them close. And for us, has been a really big deal. So consider when you start your garden where you're going to locate it. The second principle that we'd like to share with you is that it's best if you can find herbs that are perennial or aggressively self-seeding, which means that they will seed themselves in the same spot year after year. The reason for that is because it's so much easier when you know that in the spring your garden is going to grow up in about the same way that it did the previous year. There's no replanting or anything like that. Pretty much you're talking about just weeding and a little bit of upkeep. And for the most part, these plants are going to come up by themselves and serve you year after year. And last, and maybe the most important, is when you start an herb garden, you want to know what herbs you will use, what herbs your family likes to eat in cooking, what kinds of herbs might be best for some of the symptoms that you will have from certain illnesses. For example, our family tends to have herbs in our garden that are medicinal herbs that are good for things that are in the upper respiratory tract, or light colds or sore throat or sinus headaches, things like that, because those are the types of things that we tend to suffer from the most when we do have sickness. So consider when you do plants, use the ones and put the ones in your garden that you're going to use the most and have the most help from in the long run, because you will find that when you have that, you will go to your garden a lot more often. We have really learned a lot about naturopathy and different things that are related to the earth that will help us medicinally, that will help us in our cooking to give us more nutrition and more benefits. And we're so excited to be able to share that with you. And over the years, we'll learn more, and I'm sure that you will learn more as well. If you just go out and start your herb garden, you will be amazed at some of the things you will learn and some of the health benefits that you will get from growing these plants. We're glad to share this with you. We're so excited to be on this journey with you. And from our homestead to yours, blessings.